Okay, so I want to take this in a bit of a different direction. By the way, welcome to AI Today. I hope you've enjoyed the story so far, the story that will continue until we don't, whenever that might be. If you're going to Mars, then I wish you well. I'm staying here with my feet firmly planted on terra firma here on planet Earth, and it seems to be the best place to be, at least for the foreseeable future. But today on AI Today... forget the name. I really wanted to start a new chapter in this podcast because we started out with Notebook LM. Let's be honest, we used AI hosts to introduce, to set the scene, to help us better understand what AI is and how it can help us and our businesses be better. Looking at efficiency, productivity, culture change, improvements in human environments. And that mission and manifesto continues today. But one of the things that I've been hearing from listeners, and I knew in my heart of hearts all along, was that we need to get more practical. A lot of the stuff is quite kind of highfalutin, a little bit kumbaya, when we start talking about research reports all the time, then it's natural to think, well, that's all pie in the sky thinking. And, some of the time it is, but some of the time it's very real. And as part of the siphoning and filtering of research papers, initially I set a rubric against them, the likelihood of them becoming real, how real they already are. So there was already a lot of reality in the system. But, we look out across the landscape and we go, yeah, it'd be great if our company allowed us to use AI. It would be great if somebody could help me out with a workflow so that I could prove its value, so we could start questioning whether these draconian rules are in fact important or whether we should abolish them and create a skunk works. I think I could use that without broaching trademark of Lockheed. If not, I apologize, I won't use it again. Let's say unboxed thinking. I don't think anybody's trademarked that one. Maybe I will. We need to think about how, there's so many different reasons why AI can be complementary to our workforce and not fighting against it. AI is a jetpack, isn't it? You wouldn't ditch your legs to fly. You'd strap on the jetpack to go faster and see farther. That's AI. It's not really about replacement. It's about elevation. It's about taking us to new heights. Last year, a major clothing brand used AI to predict inventory demand with 95% accuracy. They didn't do it alone, though, these little agents, these little bots, the silicon sand, the smart little devils. They paired AI with human stylists. AI crunched data on weather and TikTok trends, and the human stylists crafted stories. They talked about a retro surf collection inspired by customers' nostalgia. Now think about that. You've got humans talking to your customers all the time. You've got colleagues chatting by the water cooler. Do water coolers even still exist? Who knows? But this precision in predicting inventory demand made sales increase by 30%, a third. And if we want to boil this down, AI handled the what and humans owned the why. That's really important because humans will continue to refine and evolve if they have the right training in things like creative thinking, strategic development. These are things that humans will continue to do and continue to optimize and improve on in alignment with AI. AI is not stealing jobs. It's really removing the debris and the residue from our jobs, the stuff that we really don't enjoy doing, cutting the busy work so we can focus on the real magic. I remember when I was working at a university and we were talking about channel shift, and it was just incredible how much more effective we were when we had humans working as these are the early days of the chatbots. We were working in web support, so people would type their problems, they could share an image or whatever, and if we weren't able to resolve the issue via web chat, then we'd take it to a call. But 9 times out of 10, the issues that we were trying to resolve pulled out of a knowledge base, the solutions, or we were just able to chat it through via web chat. And let's be honest, this is about efficiency. And my colleagues in customer support were able to handle 3 or 4 chats at a time. Multitasking done well, I like to think. So AI is kind of like a really good apprentice, a really good undergraduate. It can draft reports, it can analyse surveys, but you are still in charge. At least you are for the time being. You know, I remember I worked with a healthcare chief exec who saved 10 hours each week just by automating meeting notes, something that we can do anytime. We can use Sana.ai, we can use Fathom. Microsoft's got this stuff baked in these days. And you save time by not having to write up meeting notes, by not having to collate action items. You can use that time to mentor your colleagues. You can use that time to grow yourself, to learn more stuff, to learn about what AI is and machine learning and a little bit of data science, just so that we can use these tools better. And yeah, if you were able to redeploy that effort in more meaningful, more important parts of your job, satisfaction rockets, doesn't it? You start to really enjoy your job a whole lot more, but you also start to really figure out how you can turn your effort into revenue. Forget about all the busy work. This is about generating big business. So, horror stories. Companies plugging in AI and accidentally drowning in bad decisions, the hallucination syndrome, the GPS dilemma. You remember, don't we, from Google Maps, if you remember the days when, and I heard this from people who own camper vans or they drive trucks, you would go down a road and it would be a one-way road and you wouldn't be able to back up, or you could, worst case, long time ago, reports, maybe anecdotal, of people driving into lakes. You know, AI could be the same. You know, if you just wildly let algorithms approve loans, if you work in the banking sector, and it was going to ignore, you know, the edge cases or people like single parents or gig workers. The AI can't right now add empathy variables like those career pivots. Leaders like you and me, we need to be co-pilots, not just passengers. And you know, in these days where we say, rightly so, I mean, there are 2 things we say. We say AI is never going to be this bad again, and it's true, because weekly DeepSeek R1, OpenAI O3 Mini high effort, OpenAI O1 Pro, there are reasoning, chain of thought, all of these different many experts as DeepSeek uses to reduce the bandwidth, the effort, the memory effort, the compute that's needed to run ever more effective LLMs. Never going to be any worse than it is right now, because things are changing on a daily basis. And also, let's not forget that, you know, AI has the opportunity to make genuine impact on our businesses if we let it. And how do we do this? Well, as part of my innovation lab, I always encourage my clients to create AI sandboxes to delineate, to remove any pressure on the day-to-day business, to experiment in a safe place, to start incrementally using AI inside the business, low-risk areas first. You could, I mean, look, there's a hotel chain that's tested chatbots, AI chatbots, to do bookings and let humans handle complaints. 3 months later, they merged the efficiency of AI with human warmth. We're able to change how AI responds. We're able to fine-tune these models. And as a result, guess what? TripAdvisor scores leapt. Incredible how these things play out. So, You've heard me talk about software orchestrators, software composers, how we work with AI to build things. And it's the same thing in the world of business. I like to think of the human AI relationship in the domain of an orchestra. An orchestra has 100 instruments. Think about 100 different agents. Think about you running an engineering team with 100 AI developers tackling. I mean, goodness me, Booking.com. You read my story about the Mad Science Lab. These guys, I mean, they are putting out so many informed experiments on their website all the time. The apocryphal example, which I think is true, I've not been able to go on Wayback Machine to check it out, but where they replaced their entire homepage with tell us a bit about where you're going, and then we'll show you flights, hotel options. But there's none of this sort of take you on a journey. It was like the customer was fully in charge of where they wanted to take it. If you think about an orchestra with 100 instruments, 100 agents, imagine that orchestra without a conductor. Utter, complete chaos. And us, the human leaders, well, we are the conductors. And it's the percussion section, fast, precise, rhythmic, that is led by AI. But you need the conductor to blend that percussion with the guys on the fiddles. I think the posh people call them violinists. These are the creators. And the trumpets who are the visionaries. So if you imagine some of the humans are playing violins and some of the humans are playing trumpets alongside the guys who are playing on the drums, which would be the AI agents, you can imagine how beautiful that sound of the orchestra would be. Think about Sensei, which is the AI tool from Adobe. Auto-tagged photos. That was the job of the AI, among other features. But the designers used those tags to create mood boards 10 times faster. Let's go back to the orchestra. AI is the drum beat. Humans compose the symphony. So how do we create that concerto? How do we make wonderful music? This is where we start with a 20% AI diet. Some businesses I've worked with have already deployed this to huge positive effect. It starts with auditing tasks, and we do this as part of our innovation sprint. So get in touch with me, Dave, at wordandmouth.com if you want to find out more about that. But start auditing your task. And this is the same if you are a solopreneur or if you're running a big organization, in which case work with your teams. What are the things that you hate doing? Spreadsheet stuff, number crunching, data entry, scheduling. Give that all to AI because the tools already exist. And you remember we talked about the AI sandbox. Do that in somewhere that's relatively insignificant. Prove the use case. Then take back 20% of your time for what us humans can do. Coaching, brainstorming, strategizing, dreaming up that next moonshot product. Imagine what you can do with a 20% AI diet. So, you've heard some basic steps to getting started, but what about that starter pack? What does that starter pack really look like? Well, this is for you, by the way, personally, as a business leader, and to share with your team and to mandate that as part of your mission for your workforce. How do you upskill your workforce so that they don't fear AI, so that we don't worry about AI taking our jobs? 3 steps I recommend, and they've all got catchy little titles. The first one is AI speed dating. And this is where sandboxes and creating a safe environment applies to you and your teams and your colleagues, because you need to give your people the opportunity to try AI at work. There is no better time than in that workplace environment where they understand the realities of what they need to do, what their work tasks are day to day, so they can apply this thinking to their day-to-day operations. So the first thing, AI speed dating. Spend 10 minutes every day testing one tool and how it might support the work that you have to do, working in hand in hand, in tandem, in concert with you to make sure that you get the best out of it. What about, OpenAI? What about GPT-4, a very, very simple model these days now that everything's overtaking it. What about using GPT-4 for drafting emails? Or if you've got Microsoft 365, you've got tools inside the organization that's going to get you off to the races. What about using, we talked about Fathom, we've talked about Sana, SANA.ai, but a simpler version. What about Otter.ai, a very reputable tool that's been around for donkey's years that used to do automated transcription and now does so much more? What about using Otter.ai for meetings? Or Zoom also has an AI meeting note taker. I have to say, Fathom.video is one of my absolute favorites, and I would rely on that. And it's great, if you don't want to pay for the premium version, you can go to Sana.ai. You get 10 free meetings a month. This is a great example of AI Sandbox. You can download the meeting and the transcript. You can feed that transcript into Notebook LM. This is all free. And then you can question the transcript. You can say, pull out all of the tasks from that meeting, pull out any key insights. You can collect meetings that are part of a project team inside Notebook LM using this approach. Download 50 transcripts of your meetings and then say, do you notice any patterns? Do you notice anybody in particular who's done a really good job? Somebody that we should reward or recognize? Because the great thing about Sana is that the transcripts include the names of people, because the names of people are shown in video web conferencing meetings. Really good. That's AI speed dating, my number one way to start tomorrow today. Second one, the bias buster challenge. This is an interesting one. We know about AI and bias. We know about the fact that there are prejudices in these models. So what do? Well, we gather our team together. We ask AI to analyze our customer demographics, ideal customer profile, all of the data that we've got on our customers. And then we try and figure out where the gaps are in those demographics based on what we know about our customers. So it's really important that you get people from the service team in on this. Did the demographics that we spit out through AI after its analysis, do they miss things like single parents and college students? You remember we talked earlier about when using AI for loan algorithms, it turned down people who were career changers because the algorithm just wasn't able to bring any warmth or empathy to the situation. So how about your demographics, your bias buster challenge? Are there gaps, and how do we go about filling them in? And the third in my 3 ways to start tomorrow is creativity swap. This is a great way to finish the session. Use AI to generate 10 ideas. 10 ideas about how to move your business forward. Then have your people refine the top 3. This is a great workshop, a really fun workshop, a really good way to critique AI's impact on the organization and make people feel comfortable with it, know that their jobs aren't in jeopardy, and that they, by working in the loop with AI, can build incredible businesses. So, The Age of AI by Henry Kissinger and MIT's Ethics of AI course. Both incredible to consume. The Ethics of AI course from MIT is free, definitely worth trying out. These are the things that I would recommend for the next steps. If you want big picture strategy, you can't beat The Age of AI. So you've had jetpacks, you've had rocket fuel. Now a rallying cry for anyone who might be lucky enough to listen to today's episode of AI Today. My thinking is, don't fear AI. Don't just adapt to AI. Shape it in your organization. I think the future belongs to leaders who ask, how can AI help us become more human? More human. That's a bit of a surprise, a bit of a mic drop moment. Start small, dream big, and please don't outsource your curiosity. Curiosity, creative thinking, thinking strategically, these are all things that are going to be in the human domain for a long time from now. There you go. There's your AI leadership checklist for today. Until next time, strap on those jetpacks, lead with heart, and let AI handle the heavy lifting. Bye for now.